The plains of South Dakota were vast and timeless, a tapestry of rolling grasslands and rugged hills that had borne witness to countless generations. Among the native Lakota people, stories of spirits and demons were as old as the land itself. Some were tales of protection and guidance, but others were dark warnings of malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows. This is the story of Amara, a 14-year-old girl whose life would become entwined with one such dark spirit. Amara was like any other girl in her small Lakota community. She was curious, spirited, and loved to explore the prairies around her home. One fateful summer day, while wandering near an ancient burial ground, she stumbled upon an old, weathered artifact, a small stone idol carved with strange symbols. The moment she touched it, a chilling wind swept through the air, and an eerie silence descended. That night, Amara's dreams were filled with haunting visions. She saw an ancient demon, known in whispers as Maska, the Devourer. Maska was a malevolent spirit from a time before time, a being that fed on human flesh and thrived on fear. In her dreams, Maska promised power and freedom from all that bound her. When Amara awoke, she felt different, stronger, more aware, and consumed by an insatiable hunger. Over the following weeks, Amara's behavior changed. She became withdrawn, her once bright eyes now dark and brooding. She started avoiding her family and friends, spending more time alone in the wilderness. Her mother, Lila, noticed the changes and grew increasingly worried. "Amara, what's wrong? Talk to me," Lila pleaded one evening as they sat by the fire. Amara's gaze was distant. "Nothing, Mom. I'm just tired." But it was more than fatigue. Amara was fighting an internal battle against the demon that now shared her body. Maska's whispers grew louder, urging her to give in to her darkest desires. The hunger gnawed at her relentlessly, a burning need that could only be satisfied by flesh. One moonless night, the hunger became unbearable. Maska's influence was too strong, and Amara could no longer resist. She slipped out of her home and ventured into the woods, where a young deer grazed peacefully. Without thinking, she pounced, tearing into the animal with a ferocity that was not her own. The taste of blood and flesh was intoxicating, and as she devoured the deer, Maska's voice echoed in her mind, praising her. But the satisfaction was short-lived. Amara knew that this was just the beginning. The demon's hunger was insatiable, and it demanded more, much more. As days turned into weeks, Amara's transformation deepened. Her skin grew paler, her eyes more hollow. She began to crave human flesh, and the thought of harming her own people horrified and excited her in equal measure. Maska's control tightened, and Amara found herself powerless to resist. One fateful evening, as her family gathered for a communal feast, Amara felt the demons pull more strongly than ever. She slipped away from the group, her heart pounding with fear and anticipation. In the shadows, she watched as a young boy, no more than 6 years old, wandered away from the firelight. Without a second thought, she struck. The boy's screams were quickly silenced, and Amara's humanity slipped further away with each bite. When she finally emerged from the darkness, her face and hands were stained with blood, her eyes wild and unrecognizable. The community was thrown into chaos when the boy's disappearance was discovered. Fear and suspicion spread like wildfire, and whispers of dark spirits and ancient curses filled the air. Lila, desperate to save her daughter, sought the help of the tribe's elder, Grandfather Chaska, a wise and revered shaman. Grandfather Chaska listened carefully to Lila's pleas, his weathered face etched with concern. "There is a darkness within Amara," he said gravely. "An ancient demon has taken hold of her. We must act quickly if we are to save her soul." A ritual was prepared, a ceremony to banish Maska and free Amara from the demon's grasp. The entire community gathered around a sacred fire, chanting prayers and invoking the spirits of their ancestors. Amara was brought forward, her body trembling with the effort to resist the demon's control. Grandfather Chaska began the ritual, his voice strong and commanding. "Maska, devourer of souls, we call upon you to release this child. She is not yours to claim." Amara's body convulsed, and a guttural growl escaped her lips. The air grew thick with tension as the shaman continued his incantations, the flames of the fire flickering wildly. The community joined in, their voices rising in unison, a powerful force against the darkness. But Maska was not easily banished. The demon fought back, using Amara's body as its weapon. She lunged at the shaman, her eyes burning with an unholy light. Grandfather Chaska stood his ground, his staff raised high. "Spirits of the ancestors, lend us your strength," he cried. In that moment, a blinding light enveloped Amara, and the demon's screams filled the night. The community's chants grew louder, a symphony of hope and determination. The light intensified, forcing Maska to retreat. With one final, ear-splitting shriek, the demon was expelled from Amara's body, leaving her to collapse in a heap. The flames of the fire roared to life, then slowly died down, signaling the end of the ritual. Amara awoke to find herself surrounded by her family and friends, their faces filled with relief and concern. She was weak, but the darkness that had clouded her mind was gone. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she realized the horror of what she had done. "Mom, I'm so sorry," she sobbed, clutching Lila's hand. Lila held her daughter close, her own tears falling freely. "It's over now, Amara. You're safe." Grandfather Chaska approached, his expression somber. "The demon is gone, but the scars will remain. You must find a way to forgive yourself and seek redemption." Amara nodded, knowing that the path ahead would be difficult. She had to come to terms with the terrible acts she had committed under Maska's influence. The community, though shaken, stood by her, offering their support and understanding. In the months that followed, Amara dedicated herself to healing and making amends. She worked tirelessly to rebuild trust with her family and friends, participating in community rituals and seeking guidance from Grandfather Chaska. The process was slow and painful, but she was determined to reclaim her life. The memory of Maska's possession lingered, a constant reminder of the darkness that could exist within. But Amara drew strength from her people, from the land, and from the spirits of her ancestors. She knew that she had been given a second chance, and she vowed to use it wisely. Years later, Amara had grown into a wise and compassionate young woman. She became a healer, using her knowledge and experience to help others who struggled with their own inner demons. Her story became a part of the community's oral history, a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of standing together against darkness. The legend of Maska, the Devourer, continued to be told, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. But it was also a story of hope, of redemption, and of the strength that could be found in the bonds of family and community. Amara's journey had been a harrowing one, but it had ultimately led her to a place of peace and purpose. She had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it, a beacon of light in a world that could sometimes seem all too dark.